All right, I love the jovial atmosphere, but nevertheless, I need to go ahead and call this meeting to order. If you will, please, let's all stand for the flag salute, pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record reflect that all board members are present, including our newest dad of the day, Dr. McNeil. It's call above and beyond, Dr. McNeil. Appreciate getting to see you and you being here.
Thank you.
Adoption of the agenda. I believe that the only thing that is to be changed is we've deleted item F on the consent agenda. Otherwise, I will entertain a motion for the adoption of the agenda as is minus item F on the consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
Ms. Romerman?
Yes.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. The agenda is adopted as modified. Consent agenda. All of the following items, those items of a routine nature, normally approved at board meetings, will be approved by one vote unless any board member desires to have a separate vote on any or all of these items. The consent agenda consists of the discussion, consideration, and action on the following items. It's items A through X, with the exception of F.
Move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Omerman?
Yes.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Chair votes yes as well. Under information reports, USPA report, UCTA report. Ms. Gundry.
President Kinnear, Dr. Hartzler, members of the board. Actually, after all of the elections, have nothing to report this month. So I just wanted to take a minute and say thank you to our district administrators and site administrators who are always willing to answer my questions and help members when they have a concern. So we appreciate that. And we're looking forward to Thanksgiving break and appreciate that we have a whole week to rest and spend time with our families.
Very good. Thank you. Under hearings and correspondence, are there any communications to be made aware of? Opportunity for comments from the audience regarding the agenda. Anyone? No sign-ups for there. Under business agenda, under instruction, the first reading of proposed board policy revisions. Dr. Hartzler.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members. As you know, this is the time of the year where I recommend to you some proposed changes to our board policies. And this is something I might add that I know you recall this happening each and every year, but we start this really at the end of the legislative session when new laws are passed or things need to be changed in terms of with Title 70, which is really the educational portion of our laws. And then from there, each really respective division goes through those laws, and we also have our attorneys, Rosenstein, Fitchton, Ringles, provides us with recommended changes to make sure, again, that perhaps we don't miss anything along the way. But a lot of the changes or proposed changes that I am presenting to you this evening, as you'll notice, are somewhat just perfunctory. A lot of terminology changes, but in terms of substantive, not a lot of substantive changes really of the roughly 28 policy changes that we do have. What I am recommending, obviously, is that we put this out for a first reading for the public so that they can spend the next month looking at all these policies. We will, in turn, put these also on the web and make sure that we are available to answer any questions or concerns that our patrons or someone might have in regard to these proposed changes. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. But again, these will be out for our patrons and the public for the next 30 days so they can weigh in on them if they have a question or concern about them, and we will certainly make sure that we're available to address those concerns or questions that they might have.
Comments, questions? All right, I don't believe any action is required on this one. Very good, we will move on. Consider and take action on the school board meeting calendar for 2023. Dr. Hartzler.
Thank you. Again, this is something that is routine that we do each and every year. This is that time of the year where Ms. Swinburg has to start making sure that we have our dates for next calendar year school board meetings, and so I present those to you this evening. Really not anything that's going to change a great deal from what we normally do with this recommendation. But if it is approved this evening, then we will make sure that we have that posted and get it to the right folks so it's formalized.
Well, I only had one question, and it's on the October 9th, and I'm indifferent. I'm fine. Is that do we know if that is a school holiday that day? It is. My calendar shows Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. What I don't know is if that is.
It's not I don't think we're okay.
Yeah, okay.
And again, we have not set next year's calendar
Yeah,
yet. We won't
yeah.
do that until probably January, but
That's,
I
yeah. Okay.
would probably sense that next year's calendar will again look very similar
Yes.
to what this year is.
That's right. Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Omerman,
Yes.
Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
Ms. McAdams.
Yes.
Dr. McNeil.
Yes.
The chair votes yes.
Thank you.
Item 3, consider and take action on the purchase of iPads and Mac Minis for elementary sites in the amount of $359,921.25 from ESSER funds. Mr. Morris.
President Kinnear, Dr. Hartzler, members of the board, it's my recommendation to purchase roughly 1,060 iPads and their cases. The 15 Mac Minis are designed so our techs on site can service iPads. Right now they have to bring them to me. I have to plug them in and use them on my Mac. Apple loves to do things that stay within the Mac environment, so this allows our techs on site to handle those iPads, get them back in the students' hands faster. It also serves as a application cache, so the iPads download apps all the time for either updates or new apps that we want to put on there. They have to go out to the internet to get them. The Mac Minis will actually serve as a internal server, so those apps will update faster, and it takes up less bandwidth on our network.
So those Mac Minis will stay at the school, or your technicians will keep them with them?
No, they'll be at the sites. They'll stay at the sites because they have to be plugged into the network to serve as the caching server.
Move for approval.
Second.
Ms. McAdams.
Yes.
Dr. McNeil.
Yes.
Mr. Reyes.
Yes.
Ms. Romerman.
Yes.
The chair votes yes.
Thank you.
Under Finance, consider and take action on items for the 2023 bond issue. Dr.
Thank
Hartzler.
you, Mr. President, board members. I'm very proud to be able to present to you this evening our propositions that we are looking at for the 2023 bond issue. As you know this through our subcommittee meetings and also through a great deal of correspondence, this will be a $152 million proposition that we will be presenting, if it's approved by the board, to our patrons on February the 14th, 2023. I'm pleased to say that this process, primarily led by Mr. Bushyhead and Josh Robinson, along with all of our site administrators. This is something that we've been actually working on, I'm going to say probably almost for sure the last year, maybe for the last 2 years, and knowing that we would be sunsetting our 5-year previous 5-year series bond. This bond will be structured the same way. It will be a general obligation bond, a 5-year series bond. I am very pleased with the list that has been formulated. I also want you to know that last month we had our district bond issue task force meeting as well, and around 76 administrators along with patrons and parents were at that meeting, and the meeting went very well. We really didn't have anyone object to the recommendations that we had on here. As a matter of fact, we did some modifications to that, but I think collectively speaking, everyone that was at that meeting felt very good about the proposed list that is in front of you this evening. I also might add, too, that the Long Range Planning Committee also had the opportunity to look over this proposition as well, and Mr. Bushy had offered them some input, and as it stands now, this is the list that we are recommending to you. Of course, the signature project on this bond will be the 6th and 7th grade. I'm going to call it really a transformation. It will involve a new building along with a lot of retrofitting and a completely new HVC system in that building. It may be perhaps one of our most complex projects in my tenure that I can recall, because we're going to be, if all this is approved, we will be doing all of this retrofitting in these new builds while we're in school. And certainly Nabholz, the construction managers that we have chosen for this project, we feel very confident in their ability to do this with more than 2,000 little bodies running around the site. And this will be certainly a multi-year project. We're talking several years. But other than that, very pleased to present this to you this evening, and I truly do think it's been well vetted over the last almost 2 years. I'll say 2 years because I know Mr. Bushyhead has at least been working on this for the past 2 years. And again, we're never able to we're just not ever able to have the funds available to meet all the needs in the district. At one time, this was surpassed $200 million, and we've been able to pare it down to an amount that will not, and this is good news, it will not raise our taxes above our traditional levels, and I think certainly our patrons will be happy to hear that. But I know I'm probably speaking to the choir here, but we know that bond issues in Oklahoma are really the lifeblood of school systems. They are vital, absolutely vital to our existence. And so with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have about this recommendation.
Comments, questions? I think we've probably been through it.
A few times.
Yeah. All right, entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve?
Second.
Dr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Reyes.
Yes.
Ms. McAdams.
Yes.
Ms. Romerman.
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
All right, thank you.
Consider and take action on a resolution authorizing the calling and holding of a special election on February 14th, 2023 to submit to the registered qualified electors of the school district the question of the issuance of general obligation bonds to be issued in series in the sum of $146,540,000 for the purpose of constructing, equipping, repairing, and remodeling school buildings, acquiring school furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and acquiring and improving school sites, proposition number 1, and the sum of $5,460,000 for the purpose of purchasing transportation equipment, proposition number 2. Dr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Kinnear. As Dr. Hartzler mentioned, this is kind of the legal part of the bond issue that the board is considering this evening. This is actually the resolution that calls for the election to take place on February 14th. As it has in the past, we've divided this into 2 questions, since part of it deals with transportation, which is referenced under a different section of the law than the school construction piece is. The resolution that you have before you tonight lays out what we call the 70% language. We are required under statute to specify to our patrons what 70% of the proceeds will be used for. We have to balance that with building in enough flexibility to anticipate any changes that might need to be made, primarily increased construction costs as we have seen the last few years. The resolution also includes the sample language that will actually appear on the ballot and has been prepared, reviewed, picked apart, reviewed by legal as well as prepared by our bond consultants. Mr. John Wolf with MFS is here with us this evening, and I'm sure he'd be happy to answer any questions as well.
Comments, questions? It's pretty routine, actually, so I, again, will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
Ms. Rummerman,
Yes.
Ms. McAdams.
Yes.
Dr. McNeil,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes.
Thank you.
Consider and take action on reapproval of the General Building and Child Nutrition Fund operational budgets for the 2022-2023 fiscal year as outlined on the statements of revenues, expenditures, and fund balances, and as originally approved by the Board of Education on September 12, 2022, and reapproval of the 2022-2023 Estimate of Needs document as approved by the County Excise Board on October 18th, 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Kinnear. As we normally do at this time each year, once the estimate of needs has been approved by the County Excise Board, we make any needed final budget adjustments and bring it back to the board. In the case of the general fund, there has been no change to the overall amount. However, due to a number of grant budgets that have been finalized, we have made adjustments to the line items within the expenditure categories. In the building fund, there are no changes. And in the child nutrition fund, we have made a number of adjustments on the expenditure side. This is based on our discussion with Ms. Lisa Griffin to accommodate the needs that she has in the child nutrition program. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Ms. McAdams,
Yes.
Dr. McNeil,
Yes.
Ms. Romerman,
Yes.
Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
chair votes yes.
Thank you.
Any new business?
No new business.
Opportunity for comments from audience and board members?
This is our leadership cadre, and I'll talk to them.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Dr. Hartzler?
Well, as you all know, a very important program that we have in this district, and we've had it for many, many, many years. I won't date how long we have had this, but a lot of us have come up through these the leadership cadre program, and want to compliment again Sandy Calvin and her leadership team in teaching and learning for putting this on. I've already attended one of them, and I know they'll meet several times throughout the school year, and this is how at Union we kind of grow our own, and it's been a very successful program. So this evening, we have two members of our leadership cadre this year in attendance, and if you would please stand when I announce your name and give a 3-minute speech. Just kidding about that. So Leslie Camille Bennett, you will stand, Leslie. Congratulations for being a part of that program. And Margot Woodward. Where is Margot? Good to see you. I know they're learning a lot in that program, and I know the first one I attended, they were definitely a lively bunch, and I assumed that they still are, and it seemed like they were very, very eager to learn, and so very
Excuse me,
pleased.
Dr. Hartzler?
Yes.
We also have Kurt Frenzel.
Oh, Kurt Frenzel is, He was here last week. Kurt better be here every month, but yes. But Kurt, if we didn't recognize you, congratulations. That's right. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Any other comments?
Oh, we have this one. Yeah, go Redhawks.
Yeah, I know. All right, looking forward to that. Very good. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.